As you may or may not know, as of yesterday, Elon Musk has just become the first person in history to reach a net worth of $1 trillion. Now, when most people hear that number, they think one thing: wow, that's a lot of money. But here's the catch: $1 trillion isn't just a lot of money. It's a number so large that even the human brain struggles to understand it. In fact, if you spent $1 million every single day, it would take thousands of years to burn through Elon Musk's fortune. Because once you start comparing $1 trillion to countries, entire populations, and even history itself, you begin to realize just how ridiculous this number really is. Oh, and by the way, in the time you have spent watching the first 20 seconds of this video, Elon Musk already made $32,000. So, Elon Musk has $1 trillion. But how much is that really? So, to understand just how much money $1 trillion is, we first need to understand the difference between a million, a billion, and a trillion. Because despite what most people think, $1 trillion isn't a really big $1 billion. It's an entirely different scale. Here's a simple way to think about it. If I gave you $1 every second, it would take just 11 days to become a millionaire. To become a billionaire, you'd need to keep collecting that dollar every second for nearly 32 years. But to become a trillionaire, you'd need to continue collecting money every second for over 31,000 years. To put that into perspective, 31,000 years ago, humans were still living in the Stone Age. The pyramids hadn't been built, the Roman Empire didn't exist, even written language hadn't been invented yet. That's the difference between a billion and a trillion. Now, most people know that $1 trillion is a lot of money, but if we drew a line starting at $1 million and ending at $1 trillion, where do you think 1 billion would sit? I don't know, maybe somewhere around the middle or slightly higher, but nah. $1 billion would actually be sitting almost right next to the $1 million mark, barely visible on the scale. That's because $1 trillion is 1 million millions and 1,000 times bigger than a billion. To put that another way, if Elon Musk lost 99% of his wealth overnight, he'd still be worth around $10 billion. He'd still be one of the richest people on earth. That's how absurdly large $1 trillion actually is. And if you're Australian like me, that's actually still 3 times larger than that of our country's wealthiest person, Gina Reinhardt, who is $3 billion. So, there are currently more than 8 billion people living on Earth. So, what if Elon Musk decided to share his fortune with everyone? Well, if you gave every single person on the planet $100, it would cost him around 800 billion. That sounds like it should completely wipe out his fortune, but it wouldn't. After giving every man, woman, and child on Earth $100, Elon Musk would still have roughly $200 billion left over. That's enough money to create hundreds of new billionaires overnight. And even if he doubled that amount to $200 per person, he'd still be handing out money on a scale that governments could only dream of. The truly insane part is that we're no longer comparing Elon Musk's wealth to normal people, we're comparing it to the entire population of Earth. At this point, numbers like a billion and a trillion start to lose all meaning, so let's forget dollars for a moment and talk about pennies. If you lined up 1 trillion pennies in a straight line, they would stretch all the way to the moon, and then all the way back to Earth. Twice. Think about that for a second. A single penny is so small that most people wouldn't even bother picking it up off the ground. Yet, when you have 1 trillion of them, they can literally bridge the gap between our planet and the moon multiple times over. And remember, we're not talking about $1 trillion yet. We're talking about 1 trillion cents. Now imagine replacing every one of those pennies with $1. If the moon comparison wasn't enough, let's compare Elon Musk to the other richest people on Earth. First, there's Jeff Bezos, worth roughly around $250 billion. Then there's Mark Zuckerberg, worth around $280 billion. And then Larry Page, worth approximately $180 billion. Combined, those 3 men are worth about $710 billion. And those aren't even just normal men. Those are 3 of the richest people in the world. It's an amount of money so large, it's almost possible to imagine. And yet Elon Musk would still be nearly $300 billion richer. With that remaining $300 billion alone, he could still buy every NFL team in America twice. He could build nearly 200 more Burj Khalifas, the tallest building on Earth, by the way. Or he could buy around 580,000 Lamborghini Aventadors. Sounds like a great financial decision, but by now you've probably realized that $1 trillion is an absurd amount of money, so let's finish with a few final comparisons. If Elon Musk's wealth were converted into $100 bills and stacked on top of each other, the pile would stretch over 1,000 kilometers into the sky. That's higher than the International Space Station, by the way. Higher than where most satellites orbit Earth, and only a fraction of the distance to the moon. At roughly $400,000 per home, Elon Musk could buy around 2.5 million houses. That's enough homes for a city larger than many countries. He could buy every team in the AFL, and then every team in the NBA, then every team in the Premier League, and still have a few $100 billion left over. Or perhaps the craziest comparison of all, if he decided to give away $1 million every single day starting tomorrow, he wouldn't run out of money for almost 2,740 years. The Roman Empire would still be centuries away from collapse. The printing press wouldn't exist. Most countries alive today wouldn't have even been founded. So, at the start of this video, $1 trillion probably sounded like a really big number. But by now, hopefully you've realized it's much more than that. It's 31,000 years of earning $1 every second. It's spending $1 million every day for nearly 3 millennia. It's giving every person on Earth $100 and still having hundreds of billion dollars left. And it's a level of wealth so extreme that even billionaires seem small in comparison. Whether you admire Elon Musk or not, becoming the world's first trillionaire marks a moment in history. Because for the first time ever, a single person has accumulated wealth on a scale that was once thought impossible. And perhaps the craziest part of all is that numbers like these will probably keep growing, meaning one day we may look back at $1 trillion the same way we look at 1 billion, as just another milestone. But for now, Elon Musk has $1 trillion, and even after all these comparisons, it's still almost impossible to imagine what that actually means. This video and you like the content that you're seeing, please leave me a like on the video so I know that you guys are interested in this kind of content, and hopefully I can produce something a lot better in the future. Thank you.